Moving to oneness. Nourishing curiosity. Embracing differences. Becoming one.
Wow, it's a double welcome. Beautiful, isn't it? Life is just so fascinating. Hello, how are you? And welcome to the Moving to Oneness podcast. I'm your host, Meilin Ehlke, sitting here in Germany. And it's so funny, I just heard the rhythm of dripping water. You know, I have a boiler that drips once in a while. And I thought, wow, it has a new rhythm. And that's the other welcome. Happy 2021. So we've been a few days now in this magical, speedy energy with this new rhythm. It's your new rhythm. It's the rhythm of our planet Earth that has changed. Look outside how the energy fields are changing constantly. It's not just the last few days, but there have been so many portals, so many gates that are moving forward everything. And then anyway, there's the whole cosmos behind this change that has been profited over thousands and thousands of years ago. And we're right midst in it. And it may feel a little bit topsy-turvy for you, but no worries. Right? Change is fascinating. Change brings new ideas. Change brings new insights. Transformation is, I think, a very fantastic thing. It's fun. I think that's why I live. And look, outside, I don't know if you can hear it again, there's now someone hitting on stone, building a wall or retaining wall. I live here in Bavaria, Germany. Our native rock is very light, a kind of limestone, because where I live on is a ancient, I don't know how many million years ago, coral reef. And that was what attracted me to this region. I spoke about it. This region, I'm not far away from the city of Nuremberg, where the emperor has spent always at least one night or one day of his reign, the first one, before he would travel to other places where he lived. So there are a lot of structures, larger structures, stone structures being built out of this material, and they use chiseled rectangles of stone and rather big, maybe a foot high or taller, and maybe 1.5 to 2 feet long. Yeah, and so they've built the last 1,000, 1,500 years buildings out of this material. And this ancientness is what I get so attracted to, and maybe you too, I don't know, but it feeds me, it gives me something, it provides support for me to do this forward movement, right? It also connects me. We have here in this region a very old, ancient Druid site where, as I was speaking, these reefs, coral reefs, have risen up, or the softer in between has been washed out through the rain and the weather. And it has so many different gates, and it has so much moss, also beautiful wisdom carriers, and birches growing there. A magical place. So if you ever come to my region, it's called the Fränkische Schweiz, so the Franconian Switzerland, right? Because it's a little hilly. and explore that. A lot of climbers come here to climb. But there is a softness and wisdom that you receive here, calmness. There are many ancient sites. People have just a few years ago, recently, a Peruvian shaman came. He saw a vision that he needed to come and find those old places again, mostly hidden in the woods. Maybe there's a church built on, or a small castle. No, I don't want to say castle. It's more of a fort. We say Burg. We have two words for castles. We have Burg and Schloss. Schloss is really more than the larger, extravagant buildings. Yeah, and a Burg was more functional, smaller of buildings. But built on rocks, connected, interwoven with the existing rock. And I think that's why people always knew where these energies that were good for them are. So this is an invitation to you. Where do you live? Yeah? And where are your sacred sites? Those sites that provide energy to you. So you can find support now, especially rasant is a German word that comes again. Sorry, it's so many German words, but again, this speediness where movement, transformation happens so quickly, but a place where you can let yourself fall so you can remember or take time to sense of what you are made of, what you're bringing to this planet, what you're bringing to the world, what service, what message you have for others. And you may, especially now, right, we're still in COVID, feel a little lonesome. But when you go there, you'll notice you're not, that you're supported by spirits, plants, one of your most ancient ancestors, right, the rock, the stone, and connect with them. Maybe you find fungi if you're in the woods, or moss, but maybe you're in a hotter region where you have sand. Yeah, sand from rocks or sand made from shells. They're so important for us as well, this exchange with the water. Maybe you're up high in the mountains, the snow crystals, look at them. Or then you have more the conifers. Yeah? Maybe in a flattened area where you barely have trees because it's so windy. Then connect with the wind. Feel the wind on your skin, how it blows through your hair. If you have hair. Some guys don't have. But I think this is time now to see that we belong together. Yeah, it's a very interesting thing. Sometimes I think about language, and even we have sacred languages, right? And in many cultures, they were developed through the environment they live in, the microclimate, the microenvironment they have. What animals, what plant sounds, yeah, right? Are you in the jungle? Are you in the meadow? Are you at the ocean? Are you in the desert? Right? So that's also how languages develop. So connect to that. It will support you with communication in bringing out those words that you desire to speak, because it's time to bring new vocabulary to the world. Most of you always feel the truth. So look for the truth in the vocabulary, even in a written letter. Play when you write. Scribble, draw. Know that anything you put on paper, if it's a painting, a word, or nowadays even in the computer, right? Bringing what you've materialized in the non-material world here, or manifested, right? In the non-material world, and bring it here to be materialized, to make an impact. So see the strength of all these little actions that you take. Do Dolanda bauene now, down in the night and oh, na ye all in short little song just to bring that swing into you. Maybe get a little journal or write piece of paper. I sometimes love to use blank sheets of paper, so nothing is provided, so I can be even more free. Or maybe you used marble paper because you begin to see new forms. So explore. Or maybe you write into the sand. And maybe you dance when you write. Maybe you put big pieces of paper onto the wall and use a fat pen or maybe a brush and do large movements, small movements, play, explore, try out what feels right for you. Get some music that supports you. Maybe I remember the first music when I'm a landscape architect. So we played, I think it was the Moldau Vorschlag, and we just painted for an hour or drew and explored with thick pens, thin pens, small movements, big movements, and that has inspired me so often. And it is also a way to loosen up thought processes. So I did that a few more times in my life. So one time was when I was done with college and I had worked a few years, then I started to look around for a studio where I could paint. And I remember because, I was just at the transition of handwritten design on huge pieces on paper on a huge light table, right? Because you had to overlay all these different pieces to find for new forms to evolve, for the complexity of all different disciplines, right? They all brought their desires, their structural things, and out of that, we had to create something beautiful for a human being and for nature and animals to harmonize with, to unify with. But I noticed then that I barely moved my wrist when I started painting. And I still have some of those. Oh no, it's another story. When I moved from Munich here to this region, after I came back from Atlanta, the truck with all my paintings, atelier, my history has burned. I do have now all of it in my heart, and I have embodied it. The memories are very strong to it. So then over time, I also laid down then on the table the canvas, and my hand movements became larger arm movements. And then I hung something on the wall or laid it on the floor, and the movements became bigger because I involved my whole body. Put super music on, danced, right? And more of those energy forms, the flow of energy is what I put down on the canvas, on the sheet of paper. Yeah, but what it does, it loosens you up. It lets you be more free or freer. And this is what is so important, I believe, for this year, to find the things that still create density within you, that restrict you, that pull you together, and see what makes you open up. And also, I think what is of support, the last few days I unraveled a few boxes I still had not opened. A lot of stones, the mussels, shells, coral here and there, and sand, feathers I have brought from around the world whenever there was an impulse for me to pick something up and to take it along for myself or for my son or for someone else. So I have unpacked it, and it showed me again how much support I have from around the world, different countries, gifts by people of, a stone or what they've created out of nature to provide support for me, the love that's in there, the compassion, So look what is in your life that you have maybe tucked away somewhere in your home, and pull it out and see what doesn't fit for this year into your home, and bring those pieces of medicine into your room, into your house. Integrate them. Maybe make something new out of them. I put some of them on a little silver dish. They're still from my grandma, but I don't use them anymore. But I use that, and then I have like something made out of glass above it, where sacred geometry lines are etched in, and that's where I put my water on, or my fruit, or my food, right? So create something for yourself to strengthen you and to feel supported. Become creative, because these moments where you create more and more new things, those are also where your mind, your connectivity to oneness, to the one spirit, to the one light, to the one sound, right? You go into this creative flow where you create, and these ideas that are needed now will come out. Because another thing I believe very strongly in, you have to bring, or you're here now to bring something brand new. So there are really no examples out there in the world for you where you can go to. You really have to depend in a way on yourself. And this is also a practice. So start with 5-minute thing, 10-minute thing, as maybe there is no bustle out there, right? There is not so much of movement of others. You can concentrate on your own movements, whatever you can do with your fingers, because many of us, I think we underestimate what power lies within your hand, what energy flows through your fingers, what energy comes through your palm, what energy comes through your eyes. It really all our body, the skin, each single hair. Utilize it to create something new for you, to create something new for your environment, to create something new for others, where you bring your service of love, of light, to provide impact, to provide hope, to provide compassion, to provide for someone to feel your love. Surprise someone with a little gift. Maybe there's a shell or a stone that desires to go to someone else now. Put it in the mail and feel the smile on the person who opens an envelope that they have not anticipated on to arrive. Yeah? Maybe there's a glass for you that you've tucked away, maybe from a grandma or even older. Maybe you go out and find one and celebrate with it. Put your water into that and cherish what you drink. Or maybe it's a wine. Maybe it's the mixed fruit cocktail in the morning. Herb cocktail, that you blended up smoothie. But take the time to savor the beauty of every little thing that you create and take into your body. Take in this deep breath. Of the curiosity and the celebration of what is arising, what the new times are bringing. I don't know if new times is really the word, the future time, the future days, the future months, the future hour. For you. Breathe in this energy. Breathe in this environment. Soak in this environment, the sunshine, the light of the stars, of the moon, and the love of everything around you existing. Thank you for listening to the Moving to Oneness podcast. I'm Meilin, wishing the best success to you in finding, exploring yourself and shining out into the world what you are. Kisses.